Jack Hendricks stood in the morgue with his hands shaking. The white sheet covered most of Danny's body, but Jack could see his son's face. 17 years old. Still had that small scar above his eyebrow from when he fell off his bike at age 9. Now Danny was dead. "Mr. Hendricks, I need you to confirm," the woman in the blue scrub said. Her voice was soft. She'd done this before. Jack nodded. He couldn't speak. His throat felt like it was full of sand. "That's my boy," he finally said. "That's Danny." The woman wrote something on her clipboard. She didn't look at Jack when she spoke again. "The police will want to talk to you. Detective Morris is waiting outside." Jack turned and walked out. His boots made hard sounds on the tile floor. Everything felt too bright, too clean. Danny shouldn't be in a place this cold. Detective Morris was a big man with gray hair and tired eyes. He stood by the door with a paper coffee cup in his hand. "Jack," Morris said. "I'm sorry, I really am." Jack didn't answer. "We need to know what Danny was doing last night," Morris said. "Where he went, who he was with. He went to the store," Jack said. His voice sounded flat. "He was getting milk. I asked him to get milk." Morris nodded slowly. "The store clerk says Danny left around 9:30. We found his truck 2 miles away, behind the old cement factory on Route 88. Jack knew that place. Everyone did. It was abandoned. Kids went there sometimes to drink beer or fool around, but mostly people stayed away. "Why was he there?" Jack asked. Morris looked uncomfortable. "We're still figuring that out, but Jack, there were shell casings, 9mm, at least 6 shots fired." 6 shots. Jack felt something cold move through his chest. "They didn't just kill him," Jack said. "They made sure." Maurice put his hand on Jack's shoulder. "We're going to find who did this, I promise you." Jack pulled away. Promises didn't mean anything. Not now. He walked out of the building into the desert heat. The sun was too bright. The sky was too blue. Everything looked wrong. His truck was parked across the street. He got in and sat there. He didn't start the engine. He just sat. Danny was a good kid, quiet like his dad. He worked at the garage after school. He was learning how to rebuild engines. He wanted to save money for community college. He didn't have enemies. He didn't get into trouble. So why was he dead? Jack's phone buzzed. A text message from a number he didn't know. "Jack, we need to talk. Come to Rusty's bar tonight, 8 p.m. Come alone. This is about Danny." Jack stared at the message. His heart started beating faster. Who was this? How did they know about Danny already? He thought about showing the text to Detective Morris, but something stopped him. Maybe it was the way the message said "come alone." Maybe it was because Jack didn't trust anyone right now. He started the truck and drove home. His house was small. 1 story. Needed paint. He and Danny lived there together after Danny's mom left 6 years ago. She couldn't handle the desert. Couldn't handle being married to a man who smelled like motor oil and barely talked. Jack walked inside. The house felt empty. Danny's backpack was still by the door. His shoes were still in the hallway. Jack sat on the couch and put his face in his hands. He didn't cry. He wanted to, but nothing came out. He sat there until the sun started going down. Then he got up, washed his face, and grabbed his keys. Rusty's bar was on the edge of town. It was the kind of place where bikers drank and locals knew to stay away after dark. The parking lot was full of motorcycles. Big ones. Harleys with chrome that caught the last light of the day. Jack parked his truck and walked to the door. His hands were steady now. He wasn't afraid. He was past afraid. Inside, the bar was dark and smelled like beer and cigarette smoke. Men in leather vests sat at tables. They had beards and tattoos. They looked at Jack when he walked in. A woman behind the bar pointed to a table in the back corner. 3 men sat there. The one in the middle was older, maybe 60. He had long gray hair pulled back in a ponytail. His vest had patches on it. Jack recognized the biggest patch. A skull with wings. Hell's Angels. Jack walked over. His heart was pounding, but he kept his face calm. "Sit down, Jack," the older man said. His voice was rough but not unkind. Jack sat. "My name's Crow," the man said. "These are my brothers, Bones and Reaper." The other 2 men nodded. They didn't smile. "You know who killed my son?" Jack asked. He didn't waste time. Crow nodded slowly. "We do." "Then tell the police," Jack said. "Can't do that," Crow said. "But we can do something better." Jack waited. Crow leaned forward. Your boy Danny helped one of our members about 8 months ago. Kid named Cisco. Cisco's bike broke down on Route 88. Danny stopped, fixed it for free, didn't ask for anything, didn't even know who Cisco was. Jack remembered that. Danny came home late that night. Said he helped some guy with a broken chain. We protect people who help us, Crow said. We protect their families. But we didn't know Danny was your kid until today, and now he's gone. Who killed him? Jack's voice was harder now. A crew out of Barstow, Crow said. Drug runners. They used the old cement factory as a drop point. Danny must have seen something, must have been in the wrong place. Their names, Jack said. Crow shook his head. You don't want those names, Jack. You want what we're offering. What are you offering? Crow's eyes were cold and gray like steel. Justice, real justice, the kind that doesn't need a courtroom. Jack felt something shift inside him, something dark and heavy. Why would you do this? Jack asked. Because Danny was under our protection, Crow said. And we failed. That's on us, so we fix it. Bones leaned in. But you gotta decide right now, Jack, you in or out? Because once we start, there's no going back. Jack looked at all three men. He thought about Danny on that cold metal table. He thought about 6 bullets. He thought about Detective Morris and his empty promises. What do I have to do? Jack asked. Crow smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. You drive, we ride, and we make sure those boys never hurt another father's son. Jack took a breath. He knew what he was agreeing to. He knew it was wrong. He knew Danny wouldn't want this. But Danny was dead, and someone had to pay. I'm in, Jack said. Crow stood up. Good. We ride at midnight, pack light, bring your truck, and Jack? Yeah, after tonight everything changes, you understand? Jack nodded. He understood. He walked back to his truck. The desert night was getting cold. Stars were coming out. Jack sat in his truck and looked at his hands. They were rough, stained with years of grease and work. Good hands, honest hands. Soon they'd be stained with something else. His phone buzzed again. Another text. Same unknown number. Midnight, Route 88, the old cement factory, don't be late. And Jack, bring a shovel. Jack drove through the desert with his headlights cutting through the dark. It was 11:30. He had 30 minutes to get to the cement factory. In the bed of his truck, wrapped in a tarp, was a shovel, just like the text message said. Jack didn't let himself think about why they needed a shovel. The highway was empty. Nothing out here but sand and rocks and the occasional cactus. The moon was half full. It made everything look silver and strange. Jack's hands gripped the steering wheel tight. He kept seeing Danny's face, kept hearing his voice. Dad, I'm just going to the store. You need anything else? That was the last thing Danny said to him. Such normal words. Such a normal night. Until it wasn't. Jack's phone rang. He answered it. You close? It was Crow's voice. 10 minutes out, Jack said. Good. When you get here, park behind the south wall. You'll see our bikes. We're already in position. Position for what? Jack asked. You'll see. Just trust us, Jack. We've done this before. The line went dead. Jack drove faster. The cement factory appeared ahead. A big dark shape against the desert sky. It used to make concrete for building projects back in the 80s. Now it was just bones, broken windows, rusted equipment, graffiti on the wall. Jack turned off the highway onto a dirt road. His truck bounced over rocks and holes. He drove around to the south side like Crow said. 5 motorcycles were parked in the shadows, chrome gleaming in the moonlight. Jack parked next to them and got out. The air was cold now. He could see his breath. Crow stepped out from behind a wall. He was wearing all black. So were Bones and Reaper. 2 other men were with them. Jack didn't know their names. You brought the shovel? Crow asked. Jack nodded. Leave it in the truck for now, Crow said. Come with me, stay quiet. They walked through a hole in the cement wall. Inside the factory was darker. Jack could barely see. But Crow moved like he knew exactly where he was going. They climbed a metal staircase. It creaked under their weight. At the top was a catwalk. They could see down into the main floor of the factory. There were lights below, work lights, battery-powered, and 3 vehicles, 2 trucks and a black SUV. Men moved in and out of the lights. Jack counted 6 of them. They were loading boxes into the SUV, moving fast, talking in Spanish. That's them, Crow whispered. The Barstow crew, they run drugs up from Mexico, use this place twice a month for their drops. Which one killed Danny? Jack asked. His voice was steady, but his chest felt tight. Crow pointed. The tall one in the red shirt, his name is Victor, he's the shooter. The boss is the guy in the white jacket, name's Rios. He gave the order. Jack stared at Victor. He was young, maybe 25, tattoos on his neck. He was laughing about something, loading boxes like he didn't have a care in the world, like he hadn't murdered a 17-year-old kid 2 nights ago. What's the plan? Jack whispered. We wait, Crow said. They'll finish loading in about 20 minutes, then they'll head out. But they have to drive down that dirt road, the same road you came in on, and that road has a choke point, narrow, rocks on both sides. Bones leaned in. We blocked the road, big rocks, oil drums, they can't get through, can't turn around, they'll have to stop. And then? Jack asked. Crow looked at him. Then we talk to them, we explain what they did, we give them a chance to apologize. And if they don't apologize? Crow didn't answer. He didn't have to. They waited. Jack watched the men below, watched them load their drugs, watched Victor smoke a cigarette and laugh with his friends. Jack felt something building inside him, something hot and dark. It wasn't anger. Anger was too simple. This was bigger, deeper. This was grief turning into something else. Finally, the men finished loading. Rios shouted something in Spanish. The men got into their vehicles. Engine started. Headlights came on. Move, Crow said. They went back down the stairs, fast but quiet. They got to the motorcycles just as the vehicles started driving away from the factory. Jack, you follow in your truck, Crow said. Stay back, let us handle the first part, but when I signal you, you come up, understand? Jack nodded. And Jack, whatever happens out there, Danny's watching, you make him proud, you stay strong. Jack got in his truck, started the engine. The motorcycles roared to life around him. Like thunder in the desert, they rode out onto the dirt road. Jack followed. His headlights showed the dust clouds from the bikes ahead of him. A half-mile down the road, he saw brake lights, red in the darkness. The SUV and the 2 trucks had stopped. Crow was right. The road was blocked. Big rocks and oil drums. No way through. The bikers had spread out. Their motorcycles formed a wall, blocking the way back. Jack stopped his truck about 50 feet away. He turned off his engine, but he left his headlights on. They lit up the whole scene. The doors of the SUV opened. Rio stepped out. Then Victor. Then the others. They all had guns. Jack could see them clearly. Crow got off his bike. He walked forward, hands at his sides. You're blocking our road, Rio shouted. He was short and thick. Expensive clothes. Gold chain. Move your bikes or we move them for you. Can't do that, Crow said. His voice carried in the quiet desert air. We need to talk about something. We don't talk to bikers, Rio said. We don't talk to anyone, now move. 2 nights ago, Crow said. You killed a kid, 17 years old, he was just driving by. Wrong place, wrong time, you remember that? Rios went very still. So did Victor. I don't know what you're talking about, Rio said. Yes, you do, Crow said. His name was Danny Hendricks, and you shot him 6 times. Victor raised his gun, pointed it at Crow. You need to shut up, old man. The other bikers moved. Suddenly they all had guns too. Pointed at the drug runners. For a long moment nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Here's what's going to happen, Crow said. You're going to apologize. You're going to say you're sorry for what you did to that boy. And then you're going to answer for it. Rios laughed. It was a cold sound. You're crazy. You know who we work for. You know what happens if you touch us. I don't care, Crow said. And neither does the boy's father. Crow turned and looked at Jack, raised his hand. The signal. Jack got out of his truck. He walked forward slowly. His boots crunched on the gravel. All the guns turned toward him. 7 guns, pointed at his chest, at his head. Jack didn't stop walking. That's far enough, Rio said. Jack stopped. He was about 10 feet from Victor now. He could see the man's face clearly. The tattoos. The cold eyes. You killed my son, Jack said. His voice didn't shake. You shot him 6 times. He was getting milk from the store. He was a good kid. He never hurt anyone. Victor stared at Jack. Then he smiled. Wrong place, wrong time, he said. That's all it was. Nothing personal. Nothing personal, Jack repeated. Something broke inside him. Like glass shattering. Like a dam collapsing. Jack lunged forward. Victor raised his gun, but Jack was faster than he looked. He grabbed Victor's wrist. Twisted. The gun went off. The sound was deafening, but the bullet went into the dirt. Then everything exploded. Shouting. Motorcycles revving. Men running. Jack didn't let go of Victor. They fell to the ground. Jack's fist connected with Victor's face. 3 times. There was blood on Jack's hands, on the chrome of a fallen motorcycle. On the desert sand, someone pulled Jack off Victor. It was bone. That's enough, Jack, we got this. Jack stood up. His chest was heaving. His hands were shaking. Around him, the fight was over. The bikers had won. Rios and his men were on their knees, hands behind their heads. Their guns were gone. Crow walked over to Jack. You okay? Jack looked at his bloody hands. No, he said, but I will be. Crow nodded. Good, now comes the hard part. What hard part? Jack asked. Crow looked at the kneeling men. Then he looked back at Jack, deciding what justice looks like. Real justice, not the kind in courtrooms, the kind that matters. Jack looked at Victor. The man's nose was broken. Blood ran down his face, but his eyes were still defiant, still hard. What are you going to do with him? Jack asked. That depends, Crow said. On what? On you, Crow said. This is your call, Jack. Danny was your son, so you decide. We can call the police, let the system handle it, or... He didn't finish. He didn't have to. Jack looked at the desert around them. Miles and miles of nothing. No witnesses. No camera. No justice except what they made themselves. He thought about Danny, about promises, about right and wrong. I need time, Jack said. I need to think. Crow put his hand on Jack's shoulder. You got 1 hour, then we have to decide, because that SUV has a tracker, and people will come looking. Jack walked back to his truck. He sat on the tailgate and put his head in his hands. Behind him, he heard Crow talking to the prisoners, heard them begging, heard them making promises they'd never keep. Jack's phone buzzed, a text message, but not from the unknown number this time. It was from Danny's phone. That was impossible. Danny's phone was with the police. But there it was, a message from Danny's number. I know you're angry, I know you want him to pay, but this isn't you, this isn't us. Please, don't become something you're not. I love you, always. Jack stared at the message. His hand started shaking so hard he almost dropped the phone. Who sent this? Was someone playing a sick joke? Or was it? He looked up at the desert sky, at the stars, at the big empty darkness. And for the first time since Danny died, Jack started to cry. Jack sat on the tailgate of his truck and stared at the message from Danny's phone. It didn't make sense. The police had Danny's phone. It was locked up in an evidence bag somewhere. But the message was real. It was right there on his screen. Jack wiped his eyes. His hands were still bloody from hitting Victor. He looked at them, looked at what he'd become in just 2 days. A man with blood on his hands. A man standing in the desert with criminals on their knees. A man deciding whether to become a killer. Crow walked over. His boots made soft sounds in the sand. You ready to decide? Crow asked. Jack showed him the phone. I got a message from Danny's number. Crow looked at the screen. His face didn't change. That's impossible. I know, Jack said. But it's here. Crow was quiet for a moment. Then he said, sometimes we see what we need to see. Sometimes our minds play tricks when we're hurting. This isn't a trick, Jack said. Someone sent this. Maybe, Crow said. Or maybe you're looking for a reason to stop, looking for permission to walk away. Jack looked at the kneeling men. At Victor with his broken nose. At Rios in his expensive white jacket that was now covered in dirt. What would you do? Jack asked. If it was your son. Crow sat down next to Jack. For the first time he looked old. I lost my son, Crow said quietly. 18 years ago. He was 22. Got hit by a drunk driver. The driver walked away with a bruise. My boy died at the scene. Jack turned to look at him. What did you do? I found the driver, Crow said. Took me 3 months. He was living in Phoenix, had a wife, had kids, had a whole life. Crow stared out at the desert. I stood outside his house with a gun in my pocket. Watched him come home from work, watched him hug his kids, watched him be alive while my son was dead. Did you kill him? Jack asked. Crow shook his head. I wanted to. God knows I wanted to, but I saw his daughter. She was maybe 6 years old, and I thought, if I kill this man, that little girl loses her father, just like I lost my son, and the pain just keeps going. Round and round, never stops. So you let him go? I let it go, Crow said. Let him go, let the anger go, let the need for revenge go. And you know what happened? What? Nothing, Crow said. The world didn't care. My son was still dead. The drunk driver still lived his life, but I could sleep at night. I could look at myself in the mirror. Jack looked down at his bloody hands again. I don't know if I can let it go. Nobody's asking you to, Crow said. But you gotta decide what kind of man you want to be. The kind who builds things or the kind who destroys them. Your boy Danny, what kind of man was he? Jack thought about that. Danny was gentle, quiet. He fixed things. He even fixed that stray dog that showed up last year. Fed it, took it to the vet, found it a home. Danny built things. He didn't destroy them. He was good, Jack said. He was better than me. Then honor that, Crow said. Be what he was, not what these men are. Behind them, Reaper called out. Crow, we got headlights coming up the road about 2 miles out. Crow stood up. Time's up, Jack. You gotta decide now. Jack stood too. His legs felt heavy. Everything felt heavy. He walked over to where the men were kneeling. Victor looked up at him. There was fear in his eyes now. Real fear. Please, Victor said. I got a kid, a little girl. She's 4 years old, please. Jack stopped walking. You have a daughter? Victor nodded. Her name is Maria. She lives with her mother in Barstow. I send money every month. I'm all she's got. You killed my son, Jack said. Did you think about his father? Did you think about me? It was business, Victor said. He saw the drop. We couldn't let him talk. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Business, Jack repeated. The word tasted like poison. Rio spoke up. We can pay you whatever you want, 50,000, 100,000. Just let us go. Jack looked at Rios. You think I want money? Everyone wants money, Rios said. Jack shook his head. I want my son back. Can you give me that? Rios didn't answer. The headlights were getting closer. Maybe a mile away now. Crow stepped forward. Jack, we need to move. Whatever you decide, we need to move now. Jack looked at all of them. The drug runners. The desert. The blood. He thought about Danny's message. Real or not. True or not. Don't become something you're not. Let them go, Jack said. Crow stared at him. You sure? No, Jack said. But I'm doing it anyway. Bones stepped forward. Jack, these men killed your boy. They'll do it again to someone else's son, someone else's daughter. I know, Jack said. But if I kill them, I'm no better than they are. And Danny deserves better. He deserves a father who's still a good man. Crow nodded slowly. Okay, your call. He turned to the kneeling men. You heard him. Get up, get in your vehicles, and get out of here. The men stood slowly, like they couldn't believe it was real. Move the barricade, Crow told his men. Reaper and Bones walked to the oil drums and rocks, started moving them, creating a path. Rios walked past Jack. He didn't say anything, didn't even look at him. But Victor stopped. Thank you, he said quietly. I won't forget this. Yes, you will, Jack said. Men like you always do, but maybe you'll think twice before you pull that trigger next. Maybe you'll remember Danny. Maybe you'll remember his father who let you live. Victor got into the SUV. The engine started. The vehicles drove through the gap in the barricade and disappeared into the desert night. The headlights were close now, maybe a quarter mile. That's the cops, Crow said. Someone called it in. We need to go. What do I tell them? Jack asked. The truth, Crow said. You came out here looking for answers, found nothing, went home. They got no evidence of anything else. No bodies, no crime, just a grieving father in the desert. The bikers got on their motorcycles. Engines roared to life. Crow looked at Jack one more time. You did good tonight, Jack. Your boy would be proud. I don't feel good, Jack said. You will, Crow said. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday, trust me. The motorcycles rode off into the darkness. Their taillights got smaller and smaller until they disappeared. Jack stood alone by his truck as the police cars arrived. 3 of them. Lights flashing red and blue. Detective Morris got out of the first car. He walked over with his hand on his gun. "Jack, what are you doing out here?" "Looking for answers," Jack said. "About Danny." Morris looked around, saw the tire tracks, saw the disturbed sand. "Were there people here?" "Some bikers," Jack said. "They left, said they didn't know anything." Morris studied Jack's face. "You got blood on your hands, Jack." Jack looked down. He'd forgotten about the blood. "I fell," Jack said. "Cut my hand on a rock." Morris didn't believe him. Jack could see it in his eyes. But there was no proof. No evidence. No bodies. "Go home, Jack," Morris said finally. "Let us do our job. Let the system work." "The system doesn't work," Jack said. "Not for people like me. Not for people like Danny." "Maybe not," Morris said. "But it's all we got, so go home, grieve your son, let us handle the rest." Jack got in his truck and drove away. In his rearview mirror, he watched the police search the desert with their flashlights. They wouldn't find anything. The wind was already covering the tracks. The sand was already hiding the evidence. By morning, it would be like nothing happened. Jack drove home. The sun was starting to come up. The desert turned pink and gold. Beautiful. Like the world didn't care that people died. Like the world just kept turning no matter what. He parked in his driveway and sat for a moment. Then his phone buzzed. Another message. From Danny's number. "You made the right choice, Dad. I'm proud of you. Rest now. It's over." Jack stared at the message. His chest felt tight. "Danny," he whispered to the empty truck. No answer. Just the desert wind against the windows. Jack went inside his house, sat on the couch, looked at Danny's backpack still by the door, his shoes still in the hallway. The house was quiet, but somehow it felt less empty than before. Jack closed his eyes, and for the first time in 2 days, he slept. 3 weeks later, Jack was in his garage working on an engine rebuild when Crow walked in. Jack looked up. "Didn't expect to see you again. Wanted to check on you," Crow said. "See how you doing?" "I'm surviving," Jack said. "Some days are harder than others." Crow nodded. He looked at the engine Jack was working on. "That's Danny's project, the '67 Mustang engine?" "Yeah," Jack said. "He wanted to finish it, so I'm finishing it for him." "That's good," Crow said. "That's real good." They stood in silence for a moment. "I got something for you," Crow said. He pulled out a phone. Danny's phone. "Found it in our clubhouse. One of my guys, he's good with technology. He was able to access it remotely. Send those messages." Jack took the phone, looked at it. "You sent those messages from Danny's number?" Crow nodded. "Thought you needed to hear from your boy. Thought you needed permission to be a good man, so I gave it to you." Jack didn't know what to say. "Was I wrong?" Crow asked. "No," Jack said quietly. "You saved me that night. Saved me from becoming something I couldn't come back from." Crow put his hand on Jack's shoulder. "Danny was a good kid. He deserves to be remembered for who he was, not for how he died." "What happened to them?" Jack asked. "To Victor and Rios?" Crow smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "Let's just say they're not in the drug business anymore. Word travels fast in our world. People heard what they did. People heard they got let go. Made them look weak. Their bosses didn't like that. Are they dead? Does it matter?" Crow asked. Jack thought about that. "No," he said finally. "It doesn't." Crow turned to leave. Then he stopped. "You ever need anything, Jack, you call me. You're family now. That's what happens when you ride with us. Even if it's just once." After Crow left, Jack held Danny's phone for a long time. Then he opened the messages. "Read them again. Don't become something you're not. I'm proud of you." Maybe Crow sent them. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it didn't matter. What mattered was that Jack listened. What mattered was that he made the right choice. He set the phone down and went back to work on the engine. Outside, the desert wind blew. The sun climbed higher. Life continued. And somewhere, in some way Jack couldn't explain, he felt like Danny was watching. Proud of his father. Proud that Jack chose to build instead of destroy. Proud that even with blood on the chrome, Jack stayed a good man. The end.